Hello Bloomington, I'm Mayor Tim Busse, and this is the Council Minute for the week of July 18th. At our meeting on Monday, the City Council officially accepted a Certificate of Sufficiency regarding a petition for a charter amendment related to ranked choice voting. As I'm sure you remember, back in November of 2020, the voters of Bloomington approved a ballot initiative on the question of ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting is a method that allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference, and it eliminates the need for a primary because it combines the primary and general election into one event. The ballot question in 2020 asked if Bloomington residents wanted to adopt ranked choice voting to elect the mayor and city council members. 51.2% of voters, or a total of 25,339 Bloomington residents, said yes. And 48.8%, or a total of 24,158 residents, said no. Ranked choice voting was used for the first time in November of 2021 in 3 city council races. So now fast forward to June 21st of this year. The city received a petition from a group of residents who are opposed to ranked choice voting. The petition asked that the question of ranked choice voting be put back on the ballot again this fall. Now, when a petition is submitted that proposes changing the city charter, there are some very detailed steps that need to be taken that are set out very specifically in state law. City staff has carefully and prudently followed state law every step of the way on this. For example, the petition was submitted to the city clerk on June 21st. On June 22nd, the clerk passed it on to the recording secretary of the Charter Commission. On July 7th, the Charter Commission held a special meeting to acknowledge receipt of the petition, and on July 8th, the petition was formally transmitted to the city clerk and the city council recording secretary. On July 13th, the city clerk issued a certificate of sufficiency, and on Monday night, the city council accepted that certificate. A certificate of sufficiency basically says that the petition meets the official requirements that are needed to move forward. The petition is formatted in the correct way, the pages were properly attested with a complete affidavit, and the petition was signed by the required number of registered voters here in Bloomington. Now, regarding that, the number of signers needed to equal at least 5% of the total votes in the last state general election. For this petition, the minimum number of signatures needed was 2,769, and there were more than 3,300 valid signatures, so we're good there. And of course, those signatures need to be from registered Bloomington voters. As I mentioned, this is all laid out in state law, Chapter 410-12. Now, you might be wondering what the petition actually says. The petition seeks to make 4 amendments to the Bloomington City Charter. The first one restores the primary that was removed when ranked choice voting was put in place. The second is related to the filing of candidates, and it goes back to the language in place pre-ranked choice voting. The third part removes ranked choice voting as the method for electing the mayor and the city council members. And finally, the petition language prohibits future use of ranked choice voting unless it receives approval by 2/3 of voters, or 67%, in a municipal election. It's that 2/3 requirement that has our city's legal team concerned that the amendment could be subject to a legal challenge. Minnesota state law only requires 51% voter approval on any charter amendment ballot question. Minnesota courts have said that a city cannot place a question on the ballot if it's manifestly unconstitutional, inconsistent or preempted by state law, or inconsistent with public policy. This is a bit sticky. There are actually 2 sections in state law that kind of contradict each other on this question. So last week, our legal team asked the State Attorney General's office to weigh in and offer an opinion on if or how this might actually work. We hope to get a response from the Attorney General's office that will offer some guidance, but frankly, there's no guarantee that we will. That's why we accepted the petition on Monday, but put off any discussion on the ballot language until mid-August. Now, depending on what we hear from the Attorney General's office, here are the next steps. At our council meetings on August 8th and August 15th, the City Council will discuss and eventually set ballot language. By August 26th, that ballot language will be submitted to Hennepin County, and on November 8th, the city charter question related to the petition could be on the general election ballot. There is a lot more to come on this. Stay tuned. Also on Monday night, the City Council approved the transfer of funds into and then allocations from the city's Strategic Priorities Fund. So what is the Strategic Priorities Fund? Each year, when the annual external audit is complete and the city has a good picture of where the prior year's financials have settled, Staff totals up the positive budget variances from each budgetary fund, and those dollars are reallocated to the Strategic Priorities Fund. It's a fund that helps ensure resources are available for special projects or initiatives or activities on a one-time basis or as a transitional source of funding. The city manager works with the executive leadership team to identify projects that support the council's strategic initiatives, they address long-standing maintenance issues, or otherwise support city service delivery. The dollar amount in the fund ranges from year to year, and 2021 was a high year of positive budget variances with a total of about $6 million. Of that, the City Council approved the allocation of $3.49 million to projects in the areas of police, parks and recreation, and public works. The police department will receive $540,000 for 4 projects that modernize their facilities, improve conditions for police officers, and enhance the department's commitment to respectful service to the community. Specifically, the projects include a remodel of the jail facility, the purchase of a body scanner for the jail that will improve safety in the facility, a remodel of the fitness center at Civic Plaza that's used by all employees and is heavily used by our officers, and finally, a shared values organizational development process that reflects Chief Hodges' commitment to creating a values-driven organization. The $1.7 million that will go to Park and Recreation will provide a jumpstart to a lot of the priorities identified in our recently adopted Park System Master Plan. The projects include a new pool filter plus ultraviolet disinfection for the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center. It includes a replacement of the Smith Park Playground and also a variety of park improvements across the city, including basketball court upgrades at Cedar Crest, Dred Scott, Smith, and Valley View parks, the addition of bag toss games at Bush Lake, Moyer, Normandale Lake, and Valley View, the redecking of 10 bridges at Central, Highland, and Normandale Lake parks, and the replacement of the gazebo roof in Normandale Lake Park. The pool filter and the Smith Park Playground replacement, they'll be completed next year in 2023. All other projects should be completed yet this year. And finally, in Public Works, the $1.2 million allocated will advance the Council's commitment to sustainability in our natural resource environment and will initiate studies to enhance the livability in this community. It includes $350,000 for soon-to-be-determined natural resource projects. An additional $350,000 will go to the purchase of 10 F-150 electric vehicles, and $200,000 will go toward fixing up some retaining walls in the city. Also included in the Public Works allocation are a number of studies on important issues that will help us better understand the issues and will put the city in a good position to apply for and hopefully receive grant funding related to those topics. The studies will cover topics like electric vehicle charging stations, an active transportation study that would replace or update our current alternative transportation plan, and a study to help sort out the most effective ways to slow down traffic on our streets and in our neighborhoods. Now, $6 million is not an insignificant amount of money, and I want to share a bit more detail on this positive budget variance for this year. This year's positive budget variance is actually a cumulative amount from the past couple of years. The unusually high total is the result of federal funding the city received during the pandemic, higher than anticipated lodging and admissions taxes, and higher permit revenues. We also had lower than budgeted expenses in both 2020 and 2021. I'm sure some folks are thinking, well, why not just give it back to the taxpayers? The simple answer is that the city can't. There is no statutory or constitutional authority that allows cities to rebate money to taxpayers. Others might ask, well, why not use it to reduce taxes for the coming financial year? And that's a good question. But if the money was used for something other than one-time projects, it would create a structural imbalance in our budget because expenses and obligations are ongoing as part of our service delivery in the city. Infusing money one year and then not having the same amount to infuse the next year would result in ups and downs in the budget and the tax levy. The Strategic Priorities Fund gives us a great opportunity to get a jump on projects that we've been talking about for some time. And the best part is, you'll begin seeing results very soon. That's a wrap on this week's Council Minute. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, stay safe, Bloomington.